Hello guys, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching my videos, and as well as to you guys who have been following my channel for quite some time. Some of you have been following my videos and my channels for about 7 years, and you guys understand what I have went through with my channels. You guys know that when I first started making videos, I started making videos just on everyday things in life. And then when I started seeing more and more what was happening with our political situations, with mass amounts of immigration, with the way that we're getting taxed, with the way that censorship is, looking into more of what genetically modified food is, what geoengineering is, and how the carbon tax is to be put on us, and just a bunch of other things that's going on with our society, I started getting into politics, and I had 2 channels shut down, and I've been censored and all sorts of stuff. I've been called a racist, a fascist, every single thing that you can imagine for defending my rights. And the reason why I've been attacked is because there's this environment right now with social media that is teaching young people to attack anyone who they consider right-wing. So if you're right-wing, if you defend your nationality, if you defend your country, if you talk about having a culture, if you speak against mass amounts of immigration that don't make sense, you're a Nazi, that you're racist, that you're this, that you're homophobe, and all this stuff. I'm a person who does not agree with LGBT, because LGBT is a very abusive agenda that is being put on our families and our society, and it's basically social engineering that it's leading up basically to eugenics. It's controlling the way people think, the way people act, the way people look at themselves, their gender, their personalities. People are being taught that in order to be happy, that they might have to change their gender. So if you're a boy, you might be a girl. If you're a girl, you might be a boy, or you might be something in between. Certain things like queer kid stuff. I'll leave you the link below. Queer kid stuff that right now just posted a video with a kid that was dressed up as a drag queen. A little kid that is a boy that's been put with makeup, nail polish, just sexualized, and it's basically pedophilia. That kid has no chance. That kid has no ability to discern what's really happening with him because of his parents, because of the environment that his parents are in, that are influencing his parents to dress him up like that. And everybody knows that this is wrong. Everybody has complained against these videos. Everybody has said something against these videos and these channels and these kind of movements, and how YouTube is censoring people that are speaking out against these things, while YouTube is promoting these things that are hurting families, hurting everybody, hurting our society, hurting our countries. And YouTube is also allowing corporations and bad government to encourage bad laws and bad things on us and our family. And what's happening with Europe right now with the immigration and everything, it basically outbreed all the regular people and bring in a bunch of people from war-torn countries, from third world countries, who do need the help, who do need to get out of the crisis that they are in their country. But what these people don't tell you is that the United States and England and their allies, you know, I speak English, you guys can tell that, you know, I defend our countries. I defend our countries every single day. So when I say the United States and England are doing this in the Middle East and causing this immigration, I'm not trying to say that our countries are bad, our people are bad. In fact, we're victims. We who speak English are victims, because what our governments are doing is that they're terrorizing a bunch of innocent people in other countries, third world countries. Right now in Latin America, they are investing in the worst business, ripping up the business, the diplomacy, sponsoring terror groups, arming the cartels. Literally, I'm not joking. This is common knowledge now. It's same thing with what they did in the Middle East, arming and sponsoring terror groups. And what's happening? There's war. The United States and its allies are taking over all the resources in those countries. And then what's happening? They're sending all those migrants to Europe. And what is the European Union doing? It's using those migrants to impose laws on the European peoples, fragmenting their culture, while turning all of Europe into one giant country that doesn't have identity, doesn't have ethnicity, doesn't have anything. So that's why in my videos I always continuously talk about these things, and that's what I've been talking about these things for a few years, amongst other things, regular things that I do in my everyday life, and I am called a racist and all these things. So people right now are being called racist and all sorts of negative things for trying to have normality. You see what I'm saying? And that's more than unfair. It's wrong. It is illegal. What the levels of migration are illegal. It's against our constitutions, everything. But right now, what are these bad people doing with our media? Trying to teach us that us respecting our constitutions is wrong. That having patriotism is wrong. That having faith in Christ is wrong. Having any sort of religion that teaches you to have freedom is wrong. Yet they impose ways of belief, and as well as religions and methods of thinking that are religiously teaching people how to be enslaved, how to be stupid, how to not question things. And that's what we're seeing right now with our society. So that's why I question all these things. That's why I look at all these things. And when I say we gotta fight, I never say that people gotta go out there and they gotta start causing riots and problems. What we gotta do is, yes, we gotta protest. Yes, we gotta be assertive. Yes, we gotta use our voice. But the way that we fight is by educating our community. And with educating our community, what are we doing? We're influencing better politics. We are influencing better policies, better laws, because we are influencing better politicians. We are making the old system that is hurting us obsolete, because the people themselves are taking us out of this stagnant situation that our governments are putting us in. And it's not just our governments, it's what's controlling our governments. It's aristocrats, call it the Illuminati or whatnot. It's just aristocrats of too much power that are looking for radical ways to reduce the population, control people. When I talk about eugenics, it's basically what we defeated Hitler for. And that's what our English systems have been doing before Hitler, during Hitler, and way after Hitler. And that's just the reality of it. And nowadays I'm looking at this yellow vests protest out in Europe. And they're saying that it's going to spread, that this is good, that this is this and that. Hey, you know what? I agree that people got to begin to protest and put a stop to these hikes and taxes and the cost of living, everything, while our dollar is being destroyed. And then what are people saying? That, oh, that, you know, China or Russia might replace our currency. They can't replace our currency. We're not going to be under control of governments, especially like China, who will have control over a lot of our economies and the say of what happens with our countries, because they control the gold. We're going to have to find better ways. And also, we can't go under, the Western countries can't go under because of our politicians and corporations that made bad investments. What you do is that you surrender those politicians and bad corporations to the countries that they owe money to. You know, just like in the underworld, just like in law, just like with tax, just like when you owe them bank money. If you can't pay, you go bankrupt. If you really owe a lot of money, you might have to do some jail time. But you don't go and you put it on the rest of the public because that person owes the bank money. You don't go and target their whole family. You don't go target their whole community. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it affects the community when you owe the bank money. But at the same time, what are banks doing? What is our governments doing? What is our politicians that are being controlled by super powerful people? Not even our politicians, just the people that are controlling our politicians doing. They're printing out money out of thin air and destroying our economy. So it's like, if they're gonna be destroying our countries like that, okay, they've done enough destruction. Now we replace them. We take them and use them as the payment. But with the yellow vest protest, I noticed that when I looked at the information, what they're protesting, a lot of them are not really protesting the migration and a lot of the real things that they really need to be protesting, the things that are actually putting people right now out of work, the wars and all this stuff that are actually making our economy bad, and as well as causing us to lose our jobs and the price of living, and also giving these politicians power to do these things. They're not really protesting that. And I'm starting to see that the media is already starting to use it, the yellow vest protest, as a tool to say, hey, look, these people are destroying property. And what's happening is that it's putting people who are on the fence, who are not sure really what's going on, and it's making them confused. You know, because there's people amongst those yellow vest protesters that are trying to do things politically, that are trying to actually, you know, get to the bottom of things. But it looks like a lot of these people are trying to protest, and you got to be very careful with the kind of governments that we have today, the kind of intelligence that we have today that work for our governments. They like to do a lot of false flags. And I can see those groups being infiltrated, if not already infiltrated, or not created in the first place, or influenced by elements of our governments that want to use that as a false flag to make people from the right wing look like radical left wingers, you know, who are anarchists. Because there's a certain point where you're protesting, where you're going against something, but when you begin to actually cause riots and destruction of property, and you're not allowing for a proper plan to be set for proper politics or proper representation to take place, then that could easily turn against your favor. So that's just a warning for all of you who are looking at this yellow vest thing. Use the yellow vest protest or whatever as a way to gain support against LGBT, against genetically modified food, against, yes, the carbon tax and what the yellow vest protesters are going against, but also for people to begin to use that wave of protest and power in order to really get the influence of better politics going on. To get families and people to get together as communities and really start taking back power. Influencing politicians to take back the power, proper politicians. You see what I'm saying? Because we may be the body of a strong force, but if we have no head, that body only falls hard when it gets taken down. So that's just a warning when it comes to the yellow vest. So I'm going to keep making videos on these things, and thank you guys once again for following these videos and hearing what I got to say. Till next time, you guys take care. Stay safe, and as well as be very educated with what's going on today. Don't stay in the dark. Take care and goodbye.